Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Hack, and in this video we're checking out an updated Stamina Necromancer PVE DPS build for the Stonethorn DLC. And not only that, this is an extremely easy to play and powerful DPS setup using only one skill bar if you want, and no trials gear needed at all. Of course, you can always throw on 2 skill bars and trial sets if you'd like to increase the damage further, but just at its most basic point, this build is extremely easy to play, and it's going to be great for anybody looking to get into group DPS roles or even normal trials. So let's jump right into it. All right, everybody, here we are back on the Stamina Necromancer, this time with another group build. It's going to be a quick and easy DPS setup for the Stam Necro. Let's go over the basic stats here. First of all you really need to do is buff your potion, and then you're sitting at about 10,000 max magicka, almost 20,000 max health, which is very high, and then almost 34,000 max stamina. Stamina recovery, this will go up with some of our pets active, so keep that in mind. Your weapon damage, 4,700, that will be closer to about 6,000 if you're fully buffed and using the 2-bar setup. Weapon critical will increase as well. In terms of your attribute points, you will definitely want to put 64 points into stamina for the most damage possible. We are using the blue max health, max stamina food, and Shadow Mundus for the increased critical damage. Now, in terms of the potion, this is going to have to be, you're going to want weapon power potions on the Stamina Necro. Unfortunately, Necromancers still do not have a class source of Major Brutality or Major Sorcery, so you will need that. This will also give you 10% bonus critical damage. So very important on the DPS build for doing as much damage as possible with those potions. And then in terms of the race, for the most damage possible, you will want Orc. Orcs give you a nice balance of stamina, health, and then weapon damage, pretty much more than you could want for a DPS build. You're also getting a little bit of extra movement speed while sprinting, so great option. Dark Elf and Khajiit will be close behind. And then if you like something with more sustain, Red Guard gives you the built-in stamina sustain, and then you also have Wood Elf for more recovery. There's a slight difference. I mean, between all these races, whatever you choose, you can definitely make it work. So that's the basic setup. Let's talk about the gear next. Starting with our first 5-piece set, that's going to be Morag Tong. This is a PvP vendor set, so if you have Alliance points, you can purchase this yourself, or this is tradable, so you can pick it up from guild traders if you're able to. Now, this is a dual-wield build, so we're running dual-wield and then 3 pieces of jewelry. Now, if you're not familiar with this set, it's pretty good on the Stamina Necromancer. You get weapon damage, max stamina, another weapon damage bonus, and then when you deal direct damage, you're going to cause the enemy to take 10% more damage from poison and disease attacks. That's almost every form of damage we have on Stamina Necro. So this is going to be a very nice buff for yourself and actually for your group. If you're running with other stamina players who are using either poison or disease damage, this will buff them as well. So really nice effect. It's ideal to have this on your weapons. That way, if you're using the 2-bar setup, this buff will stay active when you bar swap quickly to your bow back bar. It won't be a huge loss if you have to run this on the body, but just to show you the ideal setup, weapons and jewelry. In terms of the weapons themselves, we're running 1 axe, 1 dagger, and I am using the double damage poisons here. Now, these will be increased by some of the bonuses that we have from our gear sets, as well as some of the passives that Stamina Necromancer have, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. So I just felt like the poisons here was the best option. And in terms of your jewelry, Infuse is looking very good. We have weapon damage on everything there with the Infuse trait if you have the trait chain gems. If not, Robust will be similar, but not quite as much damage. For the second 5-piece set, going with Swamp Raider, this was buffed recently in the Stonethorn DLC to give much more weapon damage. You can see this gives us a nice weapon critical bonus, max stamina, weapon damage again, and then 600 weapon damage to our poison and disease damage abilities. When we go over the abilities themselves, you'll see how useful this is on Stamina Necro. In fact, I've used this on other builds as well. It's great on Stamina Nightblade. Would be pretty strong on Stamina Warden too, especially if you want to do a bow build, since those kind of specialize in those disease and poison damage types. But overall, it's just a very nice set for the Necromancer. if you happen to have it. Since this is from the base game and it's just an overland set, very easy to get. You can farm this yourself. Or like Moor, you can buy this on Guild Traders. This is a medium armor set, so I'm running this on the body. So just feet, legs, hands, waist, and chest. Divines on everything if you can get it, and then just keep the maximum stamina enchants there. Finally, for the monster set, just going on with that disease sort of focused theme. We've got the Veladrith set. This does a nice extra weapon damage bonus for us on the 1-piece. And then for the 2-piece bonus, you do get some disease spores that spawn out in front of you. These can hit multiple targets with an 8-second cooldown. So very nice for bosses, very nice for AoE trash pulls as well. If you can get all those to land, you're going to do a lot of damage with this monster set. So that is the basic setup. In terms of the weights here, being a medium armor build, I'm just going full medium, so 7 medium pieces. Medium helmet, medium shoulders. Again, divines if you can get it, and max stamina as your enchant. So that is the basic setup. We got Morag Tong on the front bar weapons and jewelry, running Swamp Raider on the body with the Veladrith monster set. Let's check out the 1-bar skills. Again, extremely easy. Starting off and you want to do a DPS build on Stam Necro, it's going to be super easy to get this set up. Starting off with our first ability, Blighted Blast Bones from the Gravelord skill line. This is our second ability here. Blighted is the stamina morph. And look at the low cost of this ability. Necromancers have some of the lowest costing abilities in the game. Plus we have more passives to reduce costs. So extremely cheap. Does a lot of damage. And this is also AoE, by the way. So this can hit multiple targets. You're going to be casting this about every 3 abilities or so. Because there is a delay between when you cast this and when it actually goes off. Then we've got Venom Skull. This is the first ability in the Gravelord skill line for Necros. Again, we're going with the Stamina Morph here, so it does poison damage. Of course, that's buffed by both our sets, Morag Tong and Swamp Raider. Every third cast gets a bonus damage there by 20%. Just a very nice all-around skill. This cancels well with your light attacks, and it's going to fit very nicely in our rotation. Then we have really the only weapon ability on this setup, for the 1-bar at least. We're talking about Deadly Cloak from the Dual Wield skill line. Now this is kind of flexible. You don't have to use Deadly Cloak, but the reason why I like this for group builds is you do get major evasion for 10 seconds, so that's a significant amount of damage reduction from AoEs. 25% is pretty good. Plus the physical damage is good, and this will help you proc your poisons very easily as well. So just a super easy way to do AoE damage here on the setup. Now, if you don't like that, or you want to do more of a Necromancer feeling build, you can definitely swap that in with Skeletal Archer. Skeletal Archer does similar damage, maybe even slightly more DPS for the Archer, and you will get some nice passives from having him on your bar as well. So, kind of up to you. I am using Deadly Cloak right now, and it's working well. Then we've got Detonating Siphon. Again, this is from the Gravelord skill line. You should see a theme here. We're using basically all of these abilities because of how good they are for damage. This, of course, is an AoE damage over time. You need a corpse on the ground, though, so that's why we are using our Blast Bones, because that's going to give us the corpse that we need to cast this. It is free to cast other than that, which is awesome. It does very good AoE damage over time. Get an extra explosion of damage at the end, and you get 3% damage done. So pretty much a no-brainer if you want to DPS on the Stamina Necro. Make sure you're running this ability. It's very, very strong. And then our final regular ability here is going to be Barbed Trap from the Fighters Guild skill line. That is the last ability from the Fighters Guild, and this is a very solid damage over time as well, which Necros excel at. And you do, of course, get the Minor Force buff, making you do 10% more critical damage. That's going to be essential just to maximize your DPS on this setup. Now, in terms of the ultimate, there really only is one way to go, in my opinion. That's going to be the Pestilent Colossus. Not only does this do very good damage, this is from the Gravelord skill line, and not only does this do pretty amazing damage, it's going to debuff all the enemies in the area that it hits, letting you and your group do 30% more damage for about 8 seconds total. That's a massive debuff, so this is going to be great for you and your group. All right, so let's put that into a basic rotation, starting with our potion. And then basically you just cast Blast Bones and 2 more abilities. Blast Bones, 2 abilities, Blast Bones, and 2 abilities. Extremely simple. So what I like to do is Blast Bones, and then Deadly Cloak and Siphon. So that would look like this. And then Blast Bones and 2 Venom Skulls. And then a third Blast Bones, Venom Skull, and Barbed Trap. So again, Blast Bones, Deadly Cloak, Siphon, Blast Bones, 2 Venom Skulls, Blast Bones, Venom Skull, Barbed Trap, and then just repeat. Now, obviously, you want to work on light attacking in between each ability if you can. That's going to give you the most damage possible. You just start slow. Something like this. Now, when your ultimate is ready, I will substitute one of the Venom Skulls with an ultimate like that. There you go. That's the basic 1-bar setup. Extremely easy and effective. So what if you want to use 2 skill bars? Then what I'm going to recommend is just grab a bow. Any bow you want, really, though a Maelstrom bow will probably be your best in-slot option. What you want to focus on, though, of course, is the trait of this bow. You want it to be infused with a weapon damage enchant that's just going to give you the most weapon damage overall as possible. So grab a bow for your back bar. And then in terms of the abilities, I am really not going to change the front bar at all. I'm going to keep all of these the same. And then for our back bar, we're just going to add some additional dots from the bow skill line. I do recommend leaving Blast Bones there just in case you happen to miss that in your rotation. It's okay to have it double barred. And then we're going to have Poison Injection and Arrow Barrage from the bow skill line. That is your second ability and last ability. These work really well together because they have the same duration, about 10 seconds. This is our AoE damage over time. This is single target. Again, since this is poison damage, this will get buffed very well by both Swamp Raider and the Morag Tong set. Arrow Barrage does physical damage, so it's not buffed by our sets necessarily, but it is, again, providing that extra about 600 weapon damage from keeping that enchant going as long as possible. And then really the rest is just flex spots. I like to run Archer on the back bar for some extra passives, as well as just a group heal, so something like Ring of Preservation from the Fighters Guild skill line. You can also run Echoing Vigor from the Assault skill line if you happen to have access to that skill. That's another nice group heal. And I won't be using the back bar ultimate at all, so just Pestilent Colossus again, really just for the passives and nothing else. That's the easy back bar setup. So for the 2-bar setup, the rotation is obviously a little bit more complicated. I'm actually going to switch it up a little bit and just do kind of Blast Bones and then 2 abilities, alternating between each of my skills and Venom Skull. So for example, Blast Bones, Venom Skull, Deadly Cloak, Blast Bones, Venom Skull, Siphon, Blast Bones, Venom Skull, Trap, and then your back bar dots, Blast Bones, Poison Injection, Arrow Barrage, come back. So I try to keep it as simple as possible. I'll show you one more time, just a little bit faster this time. Venom Skull, Barbed Trap. Then your back bar is just Blast Bones, Poison Injection, Arrow Barrage, bar swap back. Obviously, once you have the rotation down, you'll need to learn how to light attack in between each ability. It's called light attack weaving, so it looks similar to this. And you'll want to wait just a little bit on your Arrow Barrage. Don't bar swap too quick. Otherwise, it sometimes will not cast all the way, especially if it's laggy. So keep that in mind when you're bar swapping. Obviously, use your potion on cooldown. And then whenever your ultimate is ready, you're just going to fire that off in place of one of your Venom Skulls. And that is the 2-bar rotation. Okay, let's talk about passives next for the group setup. What's interesting about this is we're using basically just Gravelord abilities, so you can save quite a few points in your other skill lines if you'd like to. Our reusable parts is very good though. This is where we get that insane cost reduction of most of our abilities. So you'll want 2 points here. Death Knell is awesome also. This basically increases your crit chance when an enemy is below 25% health by 10% for each Gravelord ability slotted. So we can see you have a 40% bonus here. That basically gets us between like 95 to 100% crit chance. Yeah, that's pretty good. So make sure you put 2 points there, as well as Dismember. This is great for the extra physical penetration while having your Gravelord abilities active. And then Rapid Rot. I kind of talked about the dot build for the Necromancer. This makes our dots even stronger. This includes your poisons as well on the front bar, all of your damage over time abilities. So definitely put 2 points there. In Bone Tyrant, we can save some points here. Really, the only 2 points you need for this skill tree passives is going to be Last Gasp. This is what gets our health close to 20,000 on the Orc for a DPS setup. That's extremely good. It really helps your survival. So make sure you put 2 points there. In terms of Living Death, I will recommend the very last 2 passives here because Corpse Consumption, this gives us 10 ultimate every 16 seconds, which is not bad. And then Undead Confederate, you can get some extra stamina and magical recovery by using Blast Bones, or if you have the Skeletal Archer. So 2 points there is going to be very good. Obviously, you want all of your dual-wield passives, as well as the bow passives if you're using both skill bars on this build, as well as your medium armor passives. These are going to be great for the extra critical chance, the extra stamina recovery, cost reduction, weapon damage from agility. That's amazing. Make sure you pick up all of those. For the guild skill line, we are using Fighter's Guild abilities. Intimidating Presence, for example, this reduces the cost of your Barb Trap, which is going to be very helpful for maintaining your rotation. And then Slayer, you do get some extra weapon damage, get extra ultimate generation from Banish the Wicked, and then some extra bonus damage on Skill Tracker. So definitely pick those up. For the Undaunted skill line, if you do have this maxed out, you can get some bonus sustain on synergies and then some extra max stats. That's always worth it if you have those unlocked. Of course, you'll want your racial passives and then Alchemy Medicinal Use for the extra potion duration. All right, champion points next. Let's talk about the green tree. We got 37 Warlord, 21 into Sprinter, 100 points into Mooncalf, and 56 into Shadow Ward and Tumbling. In the blue tree, we've got 16 into Physical Weapon Expert, 61 Master at Arms, 40 into Thaumaturge, 66 Precise Strikes, 31 Piercing, 56 into Mighty. And in the red tree, you've got 81 Ironclad, 56 Hardy and Elemental Defender, 40 into Thick Skinned, and then 37 into Quick Recovery. In terms of the outfit style, if you would like to know this setup for armor styles, this is mostly going to be the Elder Argonian set in light and medium. We've got the Elder Argonian chest, for example. I believe that's light. Elder Argonian legs, that's in heavy. I believe everything else is light. For the shoulder style, that's something different. That's going to be the Barbaric style. And then for the helmet, that's going to be Buoyant Armature in medium. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap up our easy DPS build update for the Stamina Necromancer. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Of course, if you did, don't forget to crush that like button for me. And if you're new here, make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more ESO build videos just like this one. If you'd like to see more class builds and guides, make sure you let me know that in the comment section below, and maybe I will pick your class next. Of course, if you'd like to support the channel further, there'll be links to my social media down below, as well as the new website, which, by the way, there are written versions of all my builds on the website now as well, including more details on skills, champion points, the gear set options, and the rotation. So everything there broken down for you as well. Make sure you check it out. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. Stay safe, and I will see you around in the next video.